Nearly 4 decades ago to the week, ESPN acquired NFL games that changed cable TV forever. With the network and the league in talks again, before ESPN cuts the cord and goes direct to consumer, could history repeat itself? We'll discuss. And it's March Madness.
Crowd trying to get Tanjay involved. He'll go to work. He's got a runway.
Empty side advantage.
The block jam! John Tanjay! Big finish!
I'm Andrew Marchand. He's John Meterparel, and this is Everybody Loves Sports Media. John from our Florida offices, Marchand Sports Media at spring training. Good to see you. What is the agenda?
Greetings from Del Boca Vista. ESPN and the NFL are in talks. Could a streaming deal have the same effect as its cable did 4 decades ago? What does ESPN have to get right when it brings all of its content direct to consumer?
The NCAA tournament begins this week. We'll tell you what to watch for. Steve Rabb was Thursday's main event. He's the president of SNY. We'll go deeper into one of his ideas about Major League Baseball and local rights, which I found was very interesting. Plus, NBC retains the Olympics through 2036.
And don't forget, Andrew will have your questions that will include MLB's marketing, Sunday Night Rights, CW, MLS, golf, NHL in Canada, and Aaron Andrews and Carissa Thompson. Plus, the always popular Papa Clicker book review on a Henry Aaron book.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on. We're going to have a fast-moving podcast. We're sponsored by WSC Sports Magic Crop. It takes a lot of time for editors to create vertical content that fans are used to watching on TikTok, Instagram, etc. Your league, your team, your network automatically create and publish vertical videos at scale with WC Sports' Magic Crop. It follows the live action, so you always get a perfect piece of content every time. Go in the show notes or in the email that you received, upper right-hand corner after you click the link. And you click that yellow button, demo, tell them Marchand sent you. You also could just Google WSC Sports. Best way to listen to this pod, listen every week, twice a week. On Thursday, it's going to be John Oran for the monthly with Oran. Last week, we had Rab, as we mentioned. This week is going to be a big Iron Eagle week. We had him on the podcast, very funny, 2 weeks ago. Twice a week podcast, AndrewMarchand.com, AndrewMarchand.com to become a full-time subscriber.
All right, Marchand, what's up in your world?
My what's up is John Rothstein. When I think about John Rothstein now, I think college basketball. He's in his early 40s, and he's established himself as kind of that fabric. When we grew up, Dick Vitale, Raftery. Vitale and Raftery are still going, but they were kind of the core of college basketball. Big Monday on ESPN. John Rothstein, his passion, his love for the game just stands out. One of my colleagues at The Athletic, Justin Williams, had a great feature on Rothstein the other day. And my favorite anecdote is his wife was quoted saying that Rothstein just walks around their home saying, "This is March, this is March." And she had a funny line too. I kind of want to, I want to feature on her. She said, "John, I know it's March." But that's him. It's so real from him. If I'm CBS, I'm thinking about expanding his role because he's really part of what college basketball is about. And this is his time. He does it all year, but this is his time because now we're all focused on March Madness.
Yeah, he's a must follow on X. He has millions of followers, almost as many as Andrew Marchand. I love what he brings to the table because he tells me stuff that I don't know, and he is a proud Ithaca College grad. My what's up would be a super sky point to John Feinstein. John Feinstein passed away last week. It was everywhere. Lots of words, lots of written words from many of the esteemed columnists and voices of our generation, for that matter. And one of them is Michael Wilbon. He was on ESPN on Thursday and gave his thoughts on his friend John Feinstein.
After his 3 children, the great love of John's life was Duke basketball. After that, ACC basketball. After that, college basketball and golf. It's sadly poetic that John died at the gateway to March Madness and the first day of the Players, since covering golf was his other great obsession. He was a complicated man, brimming with opinions, and anyone who knew John held an opinion about him.
All right, that was really well said by Wilbon. I got a bit of a chuckle, too, because I knew John Feinstein, and I worked with John Feinstein. John Feinstein was a Harvard basketball analyst on my broadcast when I was a Cub play-by-play guy in Boston broadcasting Harvard sports. And he was nice enough and generous enough to join me on some broadcasts coming down from D.C. just for those games. He loved Ivy League basketball. That's well documented. He's written books about the Ivy League. His most recent book, The Ancient Eight, is about Ivy League football. And I always found him to be curious. I found him to be somewhat confrontational at times, but you know what? He always did it with a nice edge, and he was extremely smart. And I think I learned a lot. Anyone who ever knew John Feinstein or worked with John Feinstein, he will be missed greatly.
Season on the Brink changed the game in terms of sports book. You had Jim Bouton and his book from baseball, but what the access he got with Bobby Knight was amazing, and I remember reading that as a kid. My what's down, Tom Brady. You're saying, wait, what did Tom Brady do? Isn't this the offseason?
Lay off, Brady.
Boston guy, as always. Tom Brady has a newsletter. Now, look, there's nothing really wrong with his newsletter. I just don't understand why Tom Brady has a newsletter. Maybe he wants to get people's emails, take over the world. I get the email because I cover sports media, so this is my job. If I didn't, I don't think I'd have it. I wouldn't get the Tom Brady email. But in a world where authenticity is so important, the idea that Tom Brady is sitting down in his computer to write 750 words to go to you and me and everybody else in the world, I kind of find hard to believe. This week, he started it quoting Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until I get punched in the face. I just, Brady's not that available for interviews. I do want to ask him what his process is for his newsletter. Does he sit down? Because these things aren't easy to write. I've written a newsletter. So just the fact that he writes it, it's a little tongue-in-cheek here, but my what's down, Tom Brady.
It's a stream of consciousness. It's like Larry King writing King's things. We can try that. Brady's things. Remember those USA Today columns that we used to love? All right, my what's down, golf announcers who use just the first name of golfers. Coming off the Players' Championship. Now, generally, I think NBC does a great job. CBS does a great job. The Golf Channel does a great job. These are all professional broadcasters. I like Dan Hicks. I like Jim Nantz. I like Terry Gannon. Here's what I don't like. When they just say Rory, or they just say Scotty, or they just say Justin. It started with Tiger. I know Tiger was an empire unto himself, but then it picked up like wildfire. And now there's not enough McIlroy. There's not enough Scheffler. There's not enough Thomas. It's an annoyance for me. As a broadcaster, I find it a little bit just too chummy, a little too clubhouse-esque. It happens in the NFL, too. They call Lamar Jackson Lamar too much. They call Patrick Mahomes Patrick too much. We heard Brady use that a lot. It's not what it should be. It's their last name, please, only.
Yeah, a little bit too familiar. I know that's a big pet peeve. I think you went to that earlier, too. Was that what broadcast was that? You didn't like it earlier?
There's any number of broadcasts that we can address. Give me their last name.
Meterparel, rest of the podcast. Those listening for free, want to upgrade and listen to the rest of the podcast, AndrewMarchand.com, AndrewMarchand.com. John Orand is the guest on Thursdays. We're twice a week on the podcast. Orand in for his monthly on Thursday.